Members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, Minister of Finance, Ms. Gumbs, and support staff, good afternoon and welcome back. This public meeting of Parliament will continue now, and the first minister to respond to questions and comments made in the first round by members of Parliament is the Minister of Finance, who I would invite to take the floor at this time. Minister Gumbs, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon once again. Questions posed by MP De Weaver. The percentage of GDP, does the Minister of Finance have any percentage number of the GDP? Is the Minister of Finance aware of any overstating comments on the GDP? Is there any overstating of the figures coming out of this? Madam Chair, through you, the current GDP of the country stands at 3 billion guilders. However, based on discussions with stakeholders, concerns have been raised about the accuracy of this calculation. Currently, we have various GDP projections from both from the IMF and the Central Bank, which are aligned. However, they are based on data provided by the Statistics Bureau. It is essential to ensure that the data provided by statistics is accurate and complete. This matter has my attention and will also be a topic of discussion again with both the Statistics Department and the IMF during their upcoming visit in November 2024. I move on to questions by MP York, who asked about the tax holiday. And Madam Chair, through you, I acknowledge MP York's statement regarding the tax holiday, and I just want to clarify for everyone that the tax holiday was not granted before the snap elections of August 2024. I emphasize this point as such insinuations can be harmful. The second question by MP York, all ministries, how much persons are in Lobscal per ministry? Through you, Madam Chair, the Ministry of Finance has 3 persons in Lobscal, 2 persons at the receivers, and 1 in the Financial Accounting Department. They will be eligible to go into the functional scale as of January 2025. Question 3, Mullet Bay is up for sale. What are the plans for the current government to buy Mullet Bay? Through you, Madam Chair, this article is indicating the situation, what was already presented to Parliament. As such, the plans did not change. I move on to questions by MP Arian. What exactly does it mean for the approval of a backup?
Minister Gumbs, just give me a moment as I allow MP York to make an interruption. MP York, you have the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back, Minister and support staff. Minister, you just referenced, through you, Madam Chair, the Minister just referenced that the tax holiday was not granted before the snap elections. Can the Minister elaborate on the exact date that it was given, please?
Thank you, MP York. Minister, can you respond to that query now, or Minister?
The exact date, I can't give the date in question, but I know it was September 2024.
Second one, same
one. MP York, you want to use your second opportunity for interruption?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you.
MP York?
Yes, so I reference to misrepresenting the reality, oftentimes with what's on paper, and something doesn't need to be signed before election for it to be an election promise, right? So I just want to take that out of the air of saying, oh, it's signed afterwards, so it's not a campaign promise, or it's not a campaign whatever. We all know how promises can go, and just because something is signed afterwards, is the minister saying, through you, Madam Chair, by virtue of it being signed afterwards, that it has nothing to do with elections?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thank you, MP York. Minister Gumbs, you may continue.
I believe I started with MP Arian. What exactly does it mean for the approval of a backup plan for the loan for the funding of the generators for GBE? What is the plan A, if this is the backup plan? Also asked by MP Otley. Through you, Madam Chair, this is a backup plan, as the preferred outcome would be for GEBE to secure its own financing. However, to be very clear, if GEBE can confirm to the government that they can finance the purchase of the generators independently, providing supporting documentation, and avoid passing the burden to consumers, we will not pursue this loan. The government has been requesting this since June 2024. As such, alternatives has to be found. The government is responsible for the well-being of this country's residents. A promise is a comfort to a fool. We will not allow 4 years to pass while keeping our residents, businesses, and guests in uncertainty. While GEBE is an NV, St. Martin has been struggling for months because priority was on addressing the hack over securing new generators, leading to the current issue with outages. If GEBE is able to secure funding, whether next year or in 2 years, they could have the option to immediately pay off the loan at hand. However, we cannot continue to wait idly, as it has been 7 months since these outages began, and we will not stand by while our people suffer in darkness. While we have temporary solutions, they are precisely that, temporary. We need to order these generators or engines sooner rather than later, and this government has proposed a concrete solution to making that happen. Next question. Many MPs have questioned or questions pertaining to the urgency or the deadline of the approval of the Budget Amendment 2024. Through you, Madam Chair, for the prison, an amount of 16 million euros has been allocated in the Dutch budget. This is not a loan. This can be considered a grant, as the prison is a co-financed project between St. Martin and the Netherlands. This amount can only be granted this year if the UNOPS contract is signed in November 2024. Should the contribution not be provided in 2024, it will return to the state treasury, and this contribution will then be forfeited. The UNOPS Phase 2 contract and the capital loan can only be signed and granted once the St. Martin's budget amendment is approved and positively assessed by the CFT. Before signing the UNOPS contract and committing the 16 million euro to be paid by the Netherlands, both approvals must be received. If the loan is not secured this year, the contribution for the prison also cannot be released in 2024. These two go hand in hand. To complete the process on time, the application procedure takes approximately 6 to 8 weeks. Therefore, the central bank would need to start the process by the end of October or at the latest early November, as the Dutch Treasury closes around mid-December. This means that there is an urgency to obtain the necessary approvals in a timely manner. As such, the urgency is to be able to receive the grant of the 16 million euros, approximately 32 million guilders, grant for the prison from the Netherlands, and the remaining loans for GEBE and the Mental Health Foundation, as these funds have not been included in the budget 2025 in the Netherlands, and as such cannot be sent to us in 2025. The urgency affects both the loans and the grant as per Dutch budgeting rules. The funds must be transferred within this year. Otherwise, they return to the Netherlands State Treasury. Since the Treasury closes mid-December and the process takes 6 to 8 weeks. This is the reason for the urgency in approving this budget by the end of October 2024. The Netherlands is not dictating terms. They are simply stating that the funds must be transferred this year or else it will be forfeited, and that their treasury closes mid-December. Therefore, if this budget is approved late and the funds cannot be transferred, this will be a consequence of our own actions. Next question. If we can't calculate the loss of the revenue of a tax holiday, how is it possible that the government cannot calculate revenue loss while this is more unpredictable, but can calculate revenue gains? Through you, Madam Chair, with regard to the revenue loss calculation, I informed Parliament previously as follows. And the breakdown goes, a tax holiday may lead to a reduction in revenue from a specific tax, such as reduced profit tax rate. However, when you look at the broader economic picture, this reduction is offset by other gains. The initial loss is balanced by increased employment, which leads to higher wage tax contributions, along with additional revenues from turnover tax and other related taxes. When all these factors are considered together, the overall impact is not a loss in revenue, but rather a shift in where the revenue comes from. Hopefully, this provides clarity on how a tax holiday works.
Minister, if with your indulgement, I give MP York the opportunity for his final interruption. MP York.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Madam Chair, the Minister is again repeating the textual rhetoric of what all the tax holiday can bring. But once again, this tax holiday was granted to a developer that was already on the island, that was already in the middle of his construction, that with or without the tax holiday, the same employees was going to be hired, the same, everything was going to happen already. So what did the tax holiday bring to St. Martin, in this case, that St. Martin wasn't already getting? Thank you.
Thank you, MP York. Minister?
Madam Chair, there is another question very similar to the question posed by MP York in clarification. And if you allow me to go on, the answer will be then provided.
Surely, Minister. Could I ask you, Minister, maybe to pull your mic a little closer to you? The whole, yes, stand and yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Minister. And Minister, while you're at a break, wait a minute, 1 minute. Thank you, Minister, and if you will allow me, then I would give MP Brug the opportunity for an interruption at this time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair Lady. Through you, Madam Chair Lady, can the Minister let me know if the person in question that received the tax break, have they received a tax break in the past before?
Thank you, MP Brug. Thank you. And I'll give the floor to the Minister in a moment. But I think from the signal that I have been getting from a previous MP who interrupted, MP York, is I think what the MP has been asking sort of to me is whether he has gotten an answer. Now, the MP has gotten an answer, and the Minister indicated that in responding to the interruption, she will do that further down in her discourse and presentation. So that's the Minister's answer. But you have also asked a question, and then I now turn it over to the Minister. And Minister, you may continue.
MP, and to the Honorable MP Brug, the same applies. The very next question talks about tax holidays, and the breakdown as to what I can divulge is in this answer. So it would answer both MP York and Mr. Brug. That is MP.
Thank you, Minister. Thank